And then who would now take responsibility for that?
Let's look at the funding issue, because this has been a major one. You know, a lot of the talk, obviously, around the issue of when the National Assembly will reconvene is obviously around the issue of the INEC budget. But we know that something potentially that is just as pressing and important is on the table, which is that of the foreign borrowing request that was made. And that we've now heard from the Minister of Finance that if that is not done and delivered by the National Assembly by the end of this month, that there will be absolutely no funding for the capital component of the 2018 budget. That's pretty important. What are your thoughts about that particular aspect of the reconvening of the National Assembly?
The problem of the reconvening of the National Assembly, I hasten to repeat, is not the National Assembly's fault. And I'm just saying this and so that Nigerians can know. We are willing to reconvene, but the point is this: reconvene to do what? Now, you're talking about the foreign component of the budgeting process. There's a committee. In fact, there are 3 committees or so that are supposed to be part of that: the Committee on Local and Foreign Borrowing, the Committee on Finance, and the Committee on Appropriations. Now, those committees now have to interrogate the minister and agree with her and her officials, agree on the borrowing plan, whatever, and what it does to the already humongous debts that we already have. And on that note, come back to plenary to report to us. So whenever you continue to say, come back, we're just saying, let the committees finish their work, are ready, and then we come back to do a joint session and agree, and then we pass everything. That is just the point. So merely putting the cart before the horse is what we are against. And that is exactly what the Senate President and the Speaker have already put out to the public.
Very quickly, what is your response to those that say that, look, you know, this issue of the reconvening of National Assembly or not is really essentially boils down to politics, that the issue of whether committees have met to bring out the documents for National Assembly to finalize, that is essentially just a ploy, a delay tactic to accommodate the politics of avoiding a scenario in which the presiding officers in the National Assembly, particularly in the Senate, could potentially be impeached. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, let me just also put it in context so that everybody understands. Maokwe will not come walk from her house to this place, walk in here and sit without the makeup people making sure that she's not sweating and all that. That is just what we're saying. You don't just say, come back and sit. To do what? The committees have to finish their work. Now, as for the political aspect and the question of whether somebody is going to be impeached or not impeached, the same APC, led by their chairman, who, despite having all the lawyers in APC, despite having the law, despite knowing everything, continues to heat up the polity by being on television, shouting every day, we must impeach, we have a crown, we have this, we have that. They are the people talking about that. It's not us.
No, distinguished, some people will say that it's well within the purview of the APC chairman to say what he wants to say, as long as it is political. I mean, that is his calling. But looking at what has happened in the National Assembly, first and foremost, you were trying to defend that your going on recess was not abrupt, even though you agree that you were scheduled to go on Thursday, you went on Tuesday. You know, some people...
And of course, the circumstances that led us to go on Tuesday is very clear to everybody.
You have explained the circumstances.
Yes.
Some people will say that is the circumstances you are still trying to avoid by avoiding a reconvening. That's on the one hand, because we remember, I mean, only just recently what happened here was it on Tuesday last week or thereabout, when the DSS, you know, took a siege to the National Assembly. So, I mean, their speculations might not be incorrect, But it would seem that what is happening is that the Senate president, some people are alleging that he is trying to protect his position by preventing the National Assembly from reconvening. Otherwise, the joint statement that was issued about 2 days ago would have been issued way before then, because the National Assembly can regulate its own rules.
No, the reason for the joint statement was because of the incorrect statements and the inaccuracies that have been bandied about by the APC. And he needed to put matters clear. And that is that. And I agree with you that, yes, there were circumstances that led to us having to adjourn and go on a scheduled recess 2 days earlier. But I can say this, and it boils down to what exactly is needed. And I say this again. You have also said what is needed. One is to pass the INEC budget. Two is to pass the borrowing plan, I think. And of course, they added some other inconsequential matters like approval of those who needed to be cleared. And I say this, take it from the beginning and from the sense of immediate history that we have.